But watching that 2-hour infomercial for the Chicago Bears and watching the interview with Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles and hearing Joe Buck go, well, the job this guy's done, he's pointing at Poles, remaking this roster, and you can see Ryan all excited. By the way, he's gotten skinny. Man. And Kevin Warren talking about, look, our focus is the museum campus. It's the most beautiful piece of real estate anywhere in the country. But we also own Arlington Heights. You can tell he's kind of torn. What do I do here?
He's vacillating back and forth because he's political, just like the city is.
Yeah.
It was what we talked about, Kat. He knows.
Correct.
And you and I both know. Arlington Heights is the spot. But he's just trying to appease Mayor Johnson and just letting
play the game.
Governor Pritzker know, like, I know what's going on here,
right?
But I'm mentioning you guys, and we're going back and forth.
But to watch that 2+ hour infomercial where everything they said was the Bears are going in the right direction. And I hear Troy Aikman, and we'll play some of Troy's comments in a little bit about what he thinks Caleb's going to do this year. I'm like, feed it into my veins. Let's go. And then we walk off the Cardinals on the other TV. I'm like, oh, my God, let's go.
Good night. A good rare night for Chicago sports yesterday. Let's just start here. I'm glad that the ones were not playing yesterday. Nice turf, Canton. Does that come in amends? My God, we complained for years about the turf at Soldier Field because of the turf monsters. You see what happened yesterday, Cap? Not saying that it would have led to an injury, but the idea that you want to keep your players safe. I'm glad that the trip-ups that we saw on both sides with the Texans and the Bears happened with the twos and not like a DJ Moore or a Caleb Williams. Not a great surface yesterday.
You're correct. And there was a throw. I thought Brett Rippon really accorded himself well, albeit against guys who probably won't be in the league. But he threw the football very well. Colin Johnson, oh, my God. That guy's a beast. He'll be on the football team. But Brett Rippon tried to step into a throw to his left down the field, and you saw his foot just slide out from under him, and it was still a pretty good throw.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, boy, if that's Caleb and you twist an ankle, God forbid worse, we'd be furious. Like, what are you guys doing putting them out in this meaningless game? Yet there were people calling in all day yesterday. I listened to the station all day long. I can't believe we're not playing him. That field? No.
Hey, Troy Aikman said it himself. He would have liked to see Caleb Williams out there. But again, there's 4 preseason games. It's 4. The old schoolers, and I thought about this after our show yesterday. I'm like, why didn't I say this to Cap during the show? You ever do that? Ever punch the steering wheel? Like, why did I bring that point up?
As soon as the elevator, we walk out together for people that don't know every day. Hoodie and I stand we've only been together for 4.5 hours, and we stand at the elevator with you blocking the door because I get off at 2, you get off at 5. And we talk. We keep going. And I get in my car. I'm like, I should have told him that.
Yeah.
And more often than not, I will call you.
I should have said to you on the air, we have to understand the Tom Thayers, the Waddles, the Yerks, the Troy Aikmans. They played 4+ preseason games.
Correct.
They are even more than that. Wasn't it more than that? 5?
It might have been.
I mean, so I understand their perspective.
They also had 2 days.
Yes, I understand their perspective. Their perspective is you play every preseason game. You got to get yourself ready, get yourself in shape, that kind of thing. But again, sports evolves. Football evolves. And because it's a rare situation now that the Bears have 4, there's 3 more for them, the ones to play in, to be able to get comfortable. So the idea that Caleb Williams and the ones should have played yesterday, my whole thought is, well, it's 4. So the next game against Buffalo on the road, unfortunately, that's where Caleb Williams is going to get some reps. And then at home. And then against Kansas City at Arrowhead. So, I mean, a lot of this is the old school players that those with the gnarled fingers, those guys should play 2-a-days, sometimes 3-a-days. We're sweating our balls off. We're getting in shape. How come? Well, because that's not what football is today. That's why.
So, in 1979, when I was playing in Division III, we had 3-a-days.
I get it.
3-a-days. 2 of them were padded. That was Division III. You imagine what they were doing at Alabama and Texas A&M and Michigan and Ohio State, beating the heck out of each other all day, all night. Get up and do it again. I was in a golf event. Jimbo Covert is sitting there, and he says to Olin, Roberto Garza, "Hey, how's Club Lovey going? You guys having a nice vacation?" "What do you mean?" "One practice in the morning because it's going to get too hot." He goes, "Ditka would have us in pads for 6 weeks."
Exactly right.
Totally different, but they evolve, as you said.
And on the other side of it, Shay, is that we as fans are so anxious and so excited to see what it looks like. Doesn't matter if it's at Lake Forest. Doesn't matter if it's a first preseason game. You're just excited to see it. I get that. But patience is a virtue. We're going to see it in week 2 of the preseason.
And I honestly, Hoodie, hope after watching last night that even some of the older guys, the old school guys who think you should be out there getting ready, have a come to Jesus moment. We can all make peace on this, that Matt Eberflus made the right decision. None of the starters needed to be on that slip inside of a football field last night.
No,
none
they
of
did
them.
not.
We got guys getting carted off. We got guys falling down, going to the locker room with lower body injuries. Everybody's sliding all over the place. If it happens to a backup, it's a sad story for the backup. If you put your starter on the field and God forbid Caleb Williams slips and tears a ligament in his knee, your season's over.
Ugh.
That field was atrocious. Yeah. There's no way a starter should have stepped foot on that.
Yeah, well, I'll say this, that I'm all for the 3-quarter preseason game. If this can be something that's instituted, I'm fine with it. I did not miss the 4th quarter. I didn't feel like I got gypped.
Oh, so I texted my brother because I had to ask. I said, "Hey, I just got home. I'm putting the game on now, watching it as live. I'm going to call you about something. Do not tell me one thing about the game." "Okay." And then I'm watching the halftime a little bit. I start to fast forward. I get to the second half. Oh, we took the lead. The game is under weather delay. And then I looked at my phone and it popped up my burner account that I only have just to follow Biggs. Pops up, Biggs, Bears game canceled. Oh, and I go to bed.
Yes, absolutely right. So if they want to do this, by the way, with the 3-quarter preseason game, I'm totally fine with it. Let's just do that. Brett Rippon, as Kap mentioned, played very well. 3 touchdowns, 11 for 15, good for 166 yards. And that's the film, Brett. You want to be able to go someplace else? Show them that film. Here you go. Here's my reel-to-reel. Here you go. You want to see my film? Oh, pretty good, kid. Wow, able to connect on some really good passes. Brett Rippon with a Hall of Fame game performance.
Any chance that they keep, I don't mean 3 on the active, but where he'd be the emergency 3rd quarterback? I mean, in a league where you got 17 games, you got quarterbacks getting pounded on all the time. Any chance that Brett Rippon is the 3rd, or they keep the Reed kid from Western Kentucky? Because Tyson Bagent's locked in at 2. So any chance?
We will see. That's a camp battle. Find out on Hard Knocks.
That's it. I'm hearing a lot of Tyler Scott stuff on Hard Knocks.
Here's Brett Rippon.
This one meant a lot for me tonight. I think, sitting on a year of my last start in Green Bay didn't go the way I wanted it to. I've had a bad taste in my mouth the entire offseason and, took the approach that, I didn't really know how this year was going to look, even if I was going to have an opportunity to compete for anything, but just kept working hard every single day and said, just going to do what I can, know how I play my best football and try to get back to that. And so, when you put in the work and it shows, it feels good.
I know the feeling for some that are rolling their eyes listening to that soundbite is, well, it's just the preseason, just the first game. Imagine if Brett Rippon was overwhelmed and looked terrible.
Oh, God.
See, that's the perspective you have. You'd rather for him to feel comfortable in the pocket. I don't care if it's against guys that's going to be at the plant in a few weeks. It doesn't matter. He looked good out there. Good for him. Good for Tyson Bagent out there. Bagent, I look forward to see more of Bagent. I don't think I got enough of him. I like to see a little bit more because I know that he can nickel and dime it better than anybody.
He did. But last year they were showing he was 2-2 as a starter. I'm like, you know what? Undrafted kid. They just dropped him in when Justin got injured. Bam. He looked fine. Not a franchise quarterback by any means at this point, but it was super cool just to see that infomercial for the Bears.